सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः, salutations, namaste to all of you. Thanks for joining. Hope all of you can hear me. If you can hear me, just say like this. Yeah, just raise your hand. Yeah, raise your thumbs. Thanks, that feedback is important. So my name is Jay Kumar. My father's first name is Srinivasan. My grandparents lived in a small village which is still small. It's called Ammangudi, near the temple town of Kumbakonam in Tamil Nadu. I was born in Kumbakonam, but I grew up in Hyderabad. I studied there, did all my schooling, and went to college in Chennai, studied at Indian Institute of Technology. After that, when I got my degree in chemical engineering, I went to the US to do my research. I did my master's and PhD there. And then worked in a chemical company, a very large chemical company, for about 22 years before I returned to India about 3.5 years ago. And so I'm here in Coimbatore. I live in Coimbatore, and I'm taking care of my parents, and I'm teaching from here. So that's a short introduction about myself. While I was in the US, I got very interested in Vedanta. I started listening to Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji of Arshavidya Gurukulam, and that's how I really got interested. And almost every day I was listening to his talks through, those days audio cassettes. These days it's all MP3 and digital, and if you say cassette, some young children may not understand what you're talking about. So that's how I studied. And then 2003-4, that time I started teaching Sanskrit. I started teaching children about our culture and teaching them shlokas, stories, things like that. So that's how it started there. And in the city of Houston is where I lived. And so those classes grew a lot, and now they're still going on. Some of my past students are conducting it, and a lot of students attending those classes. And then when I returned in 2015, I attended a long-term course at the Arshavidya Gurukulam here in Coimbatore. Swamiji has an ashram there. So I stayed in the ashram for 2 years and studied Vedanta in depth and Sanskrit, Panini Sanskrit. And then Swamiji asked me to start teaching. And so I don't work. I'm single. My work is teaching Vedanta and Sanskrit, and I give talks to teachers. Sometimes I get invited to schools and conferences where I address students, teachers, and so forth. So that's my background in a nutshell. And at some point I'll open up the forum for questions where you're free to ask me any question about the course or about myself, etc. So first of all, I want to thank all of you for registering for this course. I've taught Sanskrit before, in a physical class, in a class with 10 people, 15 people. But many friends asked me to teach Sanskrit online. And I didn't know how I could teach. So can you all hear me? Yeah. I got a message that your internet connection is unstable. So these days, there are a lot of signs. We have to honor all those signs. So so I was not sure how I can teach something like Sanskrit, where there is a lot of interaction needed and a lot of engagement needed. How can you do that online? That I didn't understand. But anyway, last year, about a year ago, I tried it, and with a group of about 15 people, and the class was came out very well, very successfully done, and so the classes are still going on, and the students wrote the Samskrita Bharati's exam. Samskrita Bharati is an organization that started about, say, 15 years ago, maybe a little more. And they started a movement of learning to speak in Sanskrit. And so long ago, when I was in the US, I saw a notice saying, learn to speak in Sanskritam in 7 days. In 1 week. I said, what is this? I never heard of something like this. First of all, I never heard of speaking Sanskritam. Second, you can learn to speak in 7 days. What is this? This is so different, and I have to go here. So every evening we used to have a 1.5 hour class, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to through Sunday. And I used to return from work, office. We used to cook something real quickly, and then 7 or 7:30, I used to drive to these classes. And I was so impressed, because by the end of the week, all of us, there were about 20, 25 of us, and we could converse in simple. We could have some simple conversations, and we could say some stories, like the story of the crow which drank the water from the pot. All this we could say. And since then, we used to talk on the phone, and we used to talk in Sanskrit. And then I started conducting classes in my home there. Like this, my interest grew. And so I used that model last year, and all my students enjoyed it, and they attended this exam conducted by Samskrita Bharati, and they passed and so forth. And so after that, I got the confidence during that such a medium could be made to work. There are some challenges, but it worked well. So now, when you all registered, and I noticed many of you did say that you were interested in learning our Shastram, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and all the basic shlokas and everything is in Sanskrit, and so it prompted, some of you even said, I want to teach my children. I want to understand Sanskrit so I can be a better role model for my children. So I think that's a fair statement. That's good. And Indians in general are realizing that they have missed out a lot by not studying Sanskrit. I studied Sanskrit in school. I studied in a central school in Hyderabad. So I was fortunate that for 4 years that Sanskrit was offered as an optional language, and I studied. But after that, it was all forgotten. But later on, I had to pick up, and it all came back. So many reasons to study Sanskrit, and most important of which is, of course, all our shastras are all in Sanskrit. Anything of significance that was done in India by our purvajas, by our rishis, by our ancestors, are all written in Sanskrit. Even if you say, I'm not so much interested in our Vedas, but I'm interested in what scientific accomplishments were done by Indians. So you look at Bhaskaracharya, Madhvacharya, you look at all these giants who were philosophers, who were mathematicians, who were who were poets, and Bhaskaracharya writes a big thesis on mathematics and called Leelavati. And if you want to study Leelavati, you must know Sanskrit. And otherwise, you have to read a translation of Leelavati, and which is written by somebody. And you may at some point decide that I need to see the original. Then also, so in all these areas of governance, Chanakya's Arthashastra, if you want to study Sanskrit. So jurisprudence, medicine, Shushruta, if you want to study medicine, Sanskrit. So like this, Dharma Shastra, if you want to study Sanskrit is needed. So Sanskrit has been the medium. I've heard that until 200 years ago, the official language of India, people used to speak in Sanskrit. Until the British came and decided, in their own words, to break the backbone of this culture, of this civilization. Their own words. And they succeeded, I think, to a large extent. But we are bouncing back. And so, there are many reasons to study Sanskritam, and many of that you already mentioned it in your when you expressed your interest. And even our culture is so different from Western cultures that there are many concepts that don't have equivalents in the Western language. So Atma, Ishvara, Karma, Jiva, Jivan Muktaha, Avataraha. Even the word Namaha. Suppose I tell you, say Namaskara. So Namaskara if I say, or Namaste if I say. In English somebody says hello. Now if I ask you the question, is hello the same as Namaskara? What will you say? What will you say? You have to, if you think, you will say, oh my God, there is a big difference between these two. Namaskaromi iti namaskara. That is the meaning. And the real meaning of nama is na mama, not mine, or sublation of ahankara. If you look at the Kalpadruma and Vachaspatyam, he says Swatva Swabhava Tyagaha. Swatva Tyagaha means the idea that I am so and so, I am accomplished and I am this, I am that. That idea sublated when I say namaste to you. That is the meaning. Means I am dropping my ahankara when I say namaste. This is the meaning. Tell me, the word hello, does it give you that meaning? It can't. Hello is hello. Hello is also nice. Nothing wrong with hello. But there is no connection between namaha, namaskara and hello. So there are reasons like this why when we start studying Sanskrit, suddenly the whole world opens up. Yesterday there was a shloka class. I'm teaching a shloka class, and I was teaching a shloka on Saraswati. And Ya Devi Stuyate Nityam Vibudhair Veda Paragaihi, etc. So I was explaining the word Paragaha. Paragaha. So Hindi में bird, पक्षी को क्या, bird को क्या कहते हैं? What are some words for bird in Hindi or Sanskrit? You can unmute yourself and speak. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Khag.
Khag. Khag is one word. And khag is also a word in Sanskrit. Sanskrit also khag, khagaha means pakshi, bird. So khagaha. There is one letter kha. And kha in Sanskrit means akash. Akashaha, space. And ga refers to the root gam, which means to go, to move. So that which moves in Akasha is called Khagaha. He gacchati iti Khagaha. Correct? Akashe gacchati iti Khagaha. Na means Akasha. Ga is to do that which moves in the sky. And what moves in the sky? Those days only Pakshi moves in the sky. Nothing else moves. So Pakshi, Khagaha, same meaning. And therefore you can use the word Khagaha even for. Okay, I'm going to mute. Go ahead and mute yourselves. There is some noise coming from somewhere. Okay. So so you can use the word Khaga even for an airplane because it moves in the sky. Because what is the definition? Khagaha doesn't say it must be a living being or non-living, etc. So therefore, this Hawai Jahaj ko you can say Khag. You can say Khag. If you are writing a poem, you can say Khag. And the reader will interpret. Hey, Khag bolta hai, and then they say, we all went in a Khag. What is the meaning of that? Then you may say, no, I think the author means airplane. So, Uraga. Uraga is the name for snake in Sanskrit. Uraga. Uraga. Uras means stomach, chest. Uras in Sanskrit. So, Urasa Gachati, that which moves on a stomach is called Uragaha. Correct? Now you understand. Once you know a little bit of root, then you mix those roots together and we start forming words. And Sanskrit is like that. So snake is called Uraga. And in fact, every reptile, even a crocodile, can be called Uraga because it moves on a stomach. On the stomach. Uragaha. So Veda Paragaha. Paragaihi, this word came, I was explaining to the students. And Param Gachati. जिसने पार किया वह पारग है. One who has crossed something is called a paraga. Correct? And then the shloka says Veda Paraga. One who has crossed this vast Vedas. What is the meaning of that? One who has mastered the Vedas. That is the meaning. Who knows everything there is in the Vedas. So Yadevi Stuyate Nityam, if you say, those who have the experts in the Vedas, they also worship this Devi. And that is how it is described, Saraswati, like that. Correct? So look at that, how each word is so pregnant with meaning. And so to get into this world, we study Sanskrit, and it was my desire to teach in a very systematic manner. And in my experience of teaching Sanskrit over the last 15 years, this is what I found. First, there is not a single person who said, I don't want to learn Sanskrit. Everybody said, oh, I've been wanting to learn Sanskrit. Oh, I learned Sanskrit in school. I never picked it up. Oh, there is always this desire to learn. Second thing, many people have started also, but started in their own way. Pick up some books, because everybody has Sanskrit books at home. Either their books or father's, mother's books or something. Some old books will be there. And pick up and then fall off. Pick up and then fall off. This is my experience. And that's because some guidance is needed. Correct? Some guidance is needed. Because the language is vast and too many topics are there. And there has to be a systematic approach to learning Sanskrit. So generally, this self-learning of Sanskrit is not easy. I won't say it's impossible, but it's not easy. That's what I've observed. So I thought I'll provide that medium where I can provide the guidance. And given so much books these days, and these days you go to Google and look for Sanskrit, and there is a big ocean of resources out there. And it can be a bit overwhelming also. So that's why I started these classes. And so the purpose of this class is to gain the basic concepts, gain mastery over that, and be able to come to a point where you gain the confidence to say Sanskrit is a real language. it's a practical language. I can even speak in that language. And I'm beginning to understand some of our own texts like Bhagavad Gita. And thereby, I want you to develop confidence and greater love for the language. And with that confidence and love, you will be able to study further and gradually become better. So that's what I expect to happen from this course. And if you say, when will this course end? I will say roughly January, February of next year. And why I said that is because at that time, Samskrita Bharati conducts an exam. They conduct an exam about twice every year. So beginning of the year and 6 months later, they conduct an exam. And so at that time, all of you will be ready to take their exam. And the name of the exam is called Pravesha. Pravesha. So it's become standard now, Pravesha, Parichaya, Siksha, and Kovida. Like that, they have 4 levels. And you can approach any Samskrita Bharati center, you can talk to them, and or you can even attend those classes they're offering. So that's the general idea of this course. Now, what happened last year when I was teaching this? There were 2 or 3 students. See, when I conduct a class, I record the class and make the video available for those who have missed the class. Okay, this is the normal procedure. And because I give a homework every week, there is a homework which will take you 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours to do. And week after week, class is there for 1.5 hours is my class. Because I meet only once a week. So what is the point in having a class for 1 hour? And already 10 minutes are gone asking people, do you hear me? And my video is not working, my audio is not working, like that. So I thought it's best to have a 1.5 hour class. And typically 6:45 in the morning, Indian Standard Time, till 8:15 in the morning. And then homework, of course, done at your own leisure. And so what happened? After 4 or 5 months of this class, some people approached me, and in fact, one person somehow heard about this, and she started doing. These 3-4 people started watching the videos and started doing their homeworks. In fact, without my knowing also. And then suddenly, I get these questions, and I was very surprised because I didn't expect somebody to do that. At least that was not my original intention. So then I invited one of my students to come to this class, to session today, and maybe we can hear from her also. And so she did all the homeworks just like the class students, and she also attended the exam and passed the exam. And she's now not attending any class because she cannot attend the class. 6:45 in the morning was not possible for her because taking care of the family. Shakuntala, same thing from Karnataka, Bellary, joint family. She lives in a joint family, and her best time is sometime in the afternoon, 1 o'clock or something. And they all came to the level of passing exams. So they said I should offer a course which is based on just video, watching a video, and having some tutorial sessions where we can engage and practice. So this course called Sasyam is based on that kind of a model, where you get a chance to see a video of a class every week. You do your homework, you submit the homework. We will grade the homework, return it. And there are wonderful ways to do that electronically. I will talk about that later. And then periodically, once in a couple of weeks or so, we can meet and have a tutorial where we get a chance to practice the concepts. Okay, this is the model. Then about 3 months or so into the course, I will conduct an exam. I have a question paper created by me, and which I did last year also. And then just to consolidate everything we learned, and then have a chance to review that, recollect, and bring it all back into our memory. And then at the end of the course, of course, as I said, in January we'll have an exam, final exam for this so-called Parichaya. So that's the model. So once again, a reminder that go ahead, Vidyapeet G, go ahead, ask a question. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Can you hear me? Yeah, Vidyapeet G, we are not able to hear you. We're not able to hear you. You're welcome to ask a question. You raised your hand, that's why I'm asking. Okay, and others, Shweta, Subramaniam, Shailaja, Vaishnavi, you're welcome to turn on your video so we can see you. And as you can imagine, it's difficult to conduct a session, if I don't get a chance to see you. So unless you are somewhere outside or something like that. Yesterday, day before yesterday, when I had a class, somebody's child, was seeking their attention. So they of course muted their video. So that makes sense, and muted themselves, things like that. So I appreciate the interest that so many people have taken. And hopefully this course will also cater to some of you who are family members, who have family duties. And of course, professional duties also are there. And so I was very encouraged when those 3 or 4 students, in fact, Vidyapeet, who is calling in, also is studying that way. And she chose to, she sent me a mail saying she will call in. And okay, so Vaishnavi, that's fine. Yeah, sometimes you may have to turn off your video in order to get the audio properly. So this is what we'll do now. That's the introduction. I have a few more things to talk about. Maybe I should do this. I should share with you some books that we use for this class. And I'll send you all this information. You're welcome to note this down. But in an email, in a follow-up email, I will send you that information. So this is a book which is published by Samskrita Bharati. It's called Abhyasa Pustakam. Can you all see the screen? Yeah, Abhyasa Pustakam. So it has it's picture based. It has a lot of pictures and fill in the blanks and things like that. So yeah, so that's how it works. And this is a very basic book, and Samskrita Bharati has used it very successfully, and I've used it. And these books are available at the Samskrita Bharati office, anywhere, Nai Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, so many places. Another book is called Bhasha Pravesha Part 1, Prathamaha Bhaga. So that's this book. So some of my lessons will be from these books, and homeworks also will be from these books. And there is another book which was published during the last BJP government. Murali Manohar Joshi was the Human Resources Minister, and he took a lot of interest in our culture, and he established something called Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan. and they published this book. It's called Vakya Vyavahara, pretty thick book. And they have a series of books which I strongly recommend you buy from Nai Delhi. I will send you that information. And it's called Vakya Vyavahara. And very beautiful thing about this book, lot of pictures. So if you like pictures, then this will be a good book for you. Correct? And especially for a new language, pictures are always a great thing. So those are the primary textbooks. And of course, there are many textbooks. Some of you will have textbooks of your own that you may have referred to in the past, and you are welcome to use those textbooks. And we have digitized these books because in a class like this, I need to show a book. So I have to share a screen, which has that page in the book. So we have all these books in digital form and with permission. And so we, in return, what we do is we buy these books from RSS and from Samskrita Bharati. So we support them. So please do that. Okay. So that's introduction here. And I'm going to pause now. And I'll try and unmute everybody and see what happens. Okay. So I've unmuted everybody. And sometimes what happens is, if you're writing something down on the table, etc., if you write, even your little scratches gets amplified, and it disturbs the class. So I learned a lot during this process, because even the birds that are chirping, they come. You all get to hear that. And in Coimbatore, we got this peacocks. The morning peacocks are there, and so my students told me, let the peacocks chirp, peacocks speak, and the class is even more interesting. So that worked out very well. So anyway, I've unmuted all of you, and if you all have any questions, please ask. Yeah, 92G, go ahead.
Yeah, it's really good to join these classes because, as you said, it is a long years wish to learn Sanskrit, because I want to understand all this stotra and all such things that you have already explained. But I want to just know that during the course of weekly conversation, can we contact you for any of our doubts, or if we want to learn something in detail, can we contact you, or will it be a weekly basis?
Yeah, very good question. So I forgot to mention that. So I'm going to mute all of you because there is some noise coming from somewhere. So the question is, can we have help during the course? Will there be help? So this time, all my students, my past students, have come forward to help. So what I'm going to do is, each of you will be assigned somebody as a coach, as a tutor, as somebody you can call. There will be a WhatsApp group where you can ask questions. There will be a news group where you can ask questions. And so that way, I think you will have a lot of help. And in fact, during the last class, I used to be available for everybody. And the WhatsApp group used to work so well that there was no need for a tutorial class for many weeks. And then as we got into more advanced topics, that's when I used to have a tutorial class. And even a tutorial class, some of my students offered to conduct instead of me. And that was very helpful. So the short answer to your question is, yes, there will be help available. So on ongoing basis, you will have that help. There are about 10 students, 12 students that I have, that all of whom will be available to help you. And so we'll see how many people eventually register for this course, and based on that, we can come up with some other methods as well. Yeah, go ahead. You can unmute. You can unmute yourself. Now, I think one of the things we should learn is how to mute and unmute. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Is it so that the WhatsApp group, when you form or your team form the WhatsApp group, uh, shall we get the invite from the somebody, and how will be this process of?
Yeah. So what will happen is, so after this class, in the next day or two, you will get an email, just like you got this email. You will get an email where you will be invited to join a WhatsApp group, and maybe invited to join a news group, a Google news group also. And so that should, same process. So you can expect an email, and I'll also give you my telephone number to all of you who want to note this down. So in case some communication is lost somewhere, you can contact me. My telephone number is 89033 02805, and the number again is 89033 02805, and India code +91. So you're welcome to contact me, call me, or send me a WhatsApp message, and we can be in touch that way as well.
One more last question. Books you were referring to, what your expectation up to what date should be with us? And because I'm in Ahmedabad, I'm not sure will it be available in Ahmedabad or not. So I have to order online, or I may search for the another source. So what is your expectation, which the next class we should have the books with us?
Yeah, so no, it is not necessary to have the books next class itself. All the books I've been ordering over the last few years, actually, it's all been online. I've been using the online system. It's been so long since I visited a bookstore, which in a way is somewhat sad also, right? Because I love to be in a bookstore, and I've done that. Actually, I remember last year I did go to a bookstore and spent a lot of time. But the advantage is you can order all these things online. So I will send you that information in that email, how to order it online. And so that should help you. Okay.
Thank you. It's all from me.
Very good, very good. So let's do this. Let's introduce ourselves, and if you can go around and tell us where you are from, and very brief background. What do you do? Are you working? Are you at home, etc.? And so give some introduction to yourself, and let's start with Vedantam ji, then Ravi Subramanian, then Ajay. Vedantam ji, go ahead and unmute yourself and speak. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Is it clear? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can. Yes.
Good morning. I am basically from Chennai. I was in Vizag to start with because my father was in the Navy. I studied in Visakhapatnam. My schooling was in Visakhapatnam. Then again he got shifted to Chennai. So I did my college from Chennai, and then I did my MBA from Loyola. I have worked for all automobile companies throughout my career. I started with the TVS group of companies. Then I worked for almost all the companies. I worked in 4 companies. I worked for 10 years in all 4 companies. I worked with Lucas TVS in Chennai. Then I moved to Bajaj Auto in Pune, who make the 2-wheelers and the 3-wheelers. Then when Hyundai was started in Chennai, again I came to Hyundai. And for about 12 years, I was in Dubai. I'm 64 now, so I retired when I was 62. Last 2 years I am in Chennai, but my daughter, who has finished her MTech from IIT Bombay, she got into Apple this year, so I have come here to be with her, and now I'm stationed at Hyderabad. So
Very good.
I have one more daughter who is in Bangalore.
Very nice. Very nice.
This is my background. So I and my wife are now in Hyderabad, and this has been one of my passions, but I have never been able to learn this thing for whatever reason, and this is an opportunity and I think you are doing a great service by being teaching this to all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Very nice to have you, Vedantamji. And my father is 85 now, but he was the owner of a business, and he used to manufacture these hardware cables, the inner cables, electrical cables to all these automobile companies, TVS, Ashok Leland, and things like that.
Okay.
So very nice to have you, Vedantamji.
Thank you. Can I unmute myself?
Yeah, you can mute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Raviji, go ahead.
Namaste to all. I was born in Chennai, educated in the UK. I did my electrical engineering, and I was also a commercial pilot, and now live in Australia, Adelaide. Here, I am a trainer and assessor for the skill development program. And incidentally, in 2011, when I met Puju Swamiji, he directed me to Modi ji, who was then a Chief Minister of Gujarat. And he gave us a project for 5 years. I camped in Ahmedabad and created trainers and assessors for the government of India. And I came back in 2016. And at the moment, I'm not doing much, but looking for new projects in training and assessment area. And very much want to learn Sanskrit, because when I started my school, unfortunately, we had the DMK banning Hindi. So I missed the opportunity to learn Hindi. I can only speak 2 languages. One is my mother tongue, Tamil. Another one is, of course, English.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Swamiji asked you to meet Modi ji and regarding your project. Is that correct?
Yes.
And assessor means what?
I'm into the skill development programs where I create generic trainers and assessors.
Ah,
So any skill, even a language skill, one may be very good in the language, but how to impart that skill to someone else and how to assess. That is the generic qualification for a trainer and assessor in which I have specialized.
fantastic. Very, very important. We Modi ji is working so hard to
Yes.
elevate our the basic education of our country and even advanced education. So
Yes.
wonderful. Very happy to hear that you were able to be
Thank
part
you.
of that movement.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Raviji.
A pleasure.
Okay. Go ahead, Ajay.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. I am basically from Patna, Bihar. Currently, I am living in Nashik, Maharashtra. I completed my BTech from Information Technology from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. Then I worked for a brief period of time in Cognizant, India. Now I am currently working with Defense Accounts Department in Nashik.
Working with which one? Which
Defense Accounts Department.
defense?
Defense Accounts Department.
Very good.
And currently my office is charged with making pay and allowances of the artillery division of the army.
I see.
That's
Fantastic.
also.
Okay. Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice. So we have one of my students is Sandeep Deshmukh from Nashik, and he's actually not only attending my course, but he's attending some Samskrita Bharati classes in Nashik also. So maybe we can put you in touch with him. and so very nice to have you, Ajay. So you are by yourself? You have a family, or how is that?
No, sir, I'm living as a bachelor by myself.
Very nice. Thanks for joining, Ajay. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Shailaja, Nairuti, and Vidyapeet, in that order. Go ahead and unmute yourself and.
Namaskaram. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I am basically from Hyderabad. Born and brought up here. I did. My dad was abroad, so I did study for some time abroad, and then we came back here. I'm basically from the healthcare background, and I'm a healthcare consultant. Right now, I'm planning to start off my own venture. Haven't decided what, but it would be in education and training. And apart from that, 4 years ago, I was working at Qatar, came back here because I had responsibility of taking care of my son and I wanted to be with him. And so during these 4 years, I've been more associated with the RSS in different forms to the social media and Balagokulam, and also with their volunteering programs in Seva Bharati. So right now, that's what is keeping me a little busy. Otherwise, I'm more or less at home.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, Balagokulam of RSS is an excellent program.
Yes, I have also taught a little bit, not taught as such, but learned some chapters of Bhagavad Gita, because every year we are supposed to teach the children to recite a couple of shlokas. So during that course, I did learn and teach them, though I did not know the meaning of what it meant. But it is something that I'm really interested in, learning Sanskrit. During my intermediate, we had Sanskrit, but that was more of, memorizing it and just writing it down. But it wasn't about, I really don't remember much of what I learned at that point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Correct. Good. Very nice to have you. All the best for your about to become venture.
Thank you.
You need all the blessings for that.
Thank you very
much. Very good. So you're consulting to some of the hospital-like institutions.
Yes, I am into quality management. So I have been an NABH consultant, and I've also got a little bit of experience in JCI. So generally, all the management, quality management procedures and processes, I help them to, set them in place so that they are ready for accreditation. That's the role I take.
Nice, very nice. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, who is next?
Nairuti?
Yeah, go ahead. Nairuti, go ahead.
Okay. Namaste to all. I'm Nairuti Pathak, and I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. My basic is I'm working with Adani Group of companies at Ahmedabad. Earlier, I was at Kutch for more than 14 years and now shifted to Ahmedabad, basically from Vadodara of Gujarat. I'm associated with Adhyatma Vidya Mandir since last 20 years, and we ran children classes for more than 4 years at our home. But Swami Niji Mataji she was supposed to come to at our home to conduct the classes, so we were arranging everything for her, and so this is fun. I am a professional translator from Hindi to vice versa, Hindi, Gujarati, English. My area of work is mainly administration and HR, and I'm fond of all this. I used to recite all the stotra and mantras every day, and I want to understand what exactly meaning of in its real sense. And secondly, since I'm about to off from my work in next 2 to 3 years, I want to explore this opportunity for the children or for the society who are interested in this area. So this is basic information about me.
Very nice, very impressive, and your love for learning more about our culture, our Shastram,
Yes.
children, society, very important.
Yes.
And please, Swami Viditatmananda ji, I've learned so much from him during his visits to the US. Please,
Okay.
if you meet him, please convey my namaskars to Swamiji
Sure.
and Swamini ji there.
We used to be in his ashram Tattva Tirth almost regularly. In Baroda, Brahmatmanandji Swami ji and Swaprakashanandji Mataji. And just to add one more thing about, I was privileged to have a master of ceremony when Dayanand Swamiji at Baroda. So that was a great opportunity for me to be very close to him, to touch his feet and get to be blessed with him. So that was a great opportunity for me.
How many years ago?
Maybe 15 years, in 2002 or so.
Yeah.
2002 or 3, when this Brahmatmanandji's ashram was inaugurated in Baroda. So that time he was here in Baroda, and I was privileged to have a master ceremony about his Gnan Yagna at one of the town halls in Baroda. So that was it's really, still I feel so excited about remembering all these moments.
Very nice, very delighted. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Larita ji. Vidyapeeth, go ahead. Vidyapeeth ji. We're not able to hear you. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Or I can unmute you if you cannot. All right, so let me do that. I have unmuted you now.
Thank you. Thank you. So my name is Vidyapeeth, and actually that's the spiritual name. And in regard to the Sanskrit classes, I prefer to use this name. Originally, I'm from Bulgaria, a very small country in East Europe, post-communist country. Maybe it sounds strange for you why a girl from there wants to learn Sanskrit, but it's in relation with my spiritual search and quest, because somehow in my life happened that when I was 20, I came in contact with my guru. So I'm associated more with the Bihar school of yoga. Yeah, so I'm going to do this.
So Vidyapeeth ji, I think it says, I get a message that your network bandwidth is low. So what you can do is, what we can do is you can turn off your video so that at least the audio part is clear. So is it possible for you to turn off your video? Yeah, because your bandwidth is low. Your internet bandwidth is low. And so what?
Okay, let me try.
Yeah, I should be able to do it, but for some reason.
If you can do it for me, I'm sorry, but just time difference, it's really challenging.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's about 5. That's why I'm very happy that now you give this opportunity to watch the videos recorded.
Okay, so I've stopped your video. Go ahead.
Okay, so should I start from the beginning?
No, we could hear everything. Continue.
Okay, so actually I'm associated with her school. My guru is Swami Niranjanananda, and later on, when I was about 26, I joined the ashram there. So I spent quite a lot of years in India, which gave me opportunities to spend in service. So mainly Indrikya Pit is, and I managed to learn to study Hindi, so I can manage just to speak. And of course Devanagari. So we had lots of things. And so when I speak now about my profession, because I see many people, they introduce themselves, I cannot really say that I have a kind of career, but when I came back, what suits me to work and to able to spend money is as carer, as a social assistant, working with people who are old or who are sick according to the need. And I worked in Germany, and now I'm with the English company. But a very interesting thing happened last year because I went in India, and I contacted with the person who we were just talking, and I said that I feel now more I want more now to study the scriptures, to go back to Sanskrit, whatever I can learn. And he guided me to Swami Dayananda ashram, and he said, you go there. So I went for a 1-week retreat course in July, which actually was culminated in the Kumbha Bhishekam. What I understood, they do every 12 years.
Yes.
So I spent that week with Swami Sadatmananda and Swami Shankarananda. They did Dakshinamurti Stotram and Kevala Upanishad. And my stay there was very fulfilling, and I decided, yes, that's the place where suits me to study Sanskrit and the scriptures. I spoke with Swami Sadatmananda, and about Sanskrit he referred Jayakumarji. So that's why I came in contact. Actually, last year I inquired about these courses, and on my own I try to do whatever I can. Sorry that I was with such a slow pace, but at that time I was in German. I was like German and English I have to use, and this it was a bit struggling, and it was a bit challenging. And now I hope, I mean, soon I have to go to UK. I hope that I will manage what we'll do. I mean, I'm quite determined to learn. And actually, this week I received email from Swami Sadatmananda, who told me that I'm accepted for the course, and they expected me there to be between 25th and 1st September. So when I join, I won't be able to participate in the online classes, because they said that you have to stop any online learning. So, but that time I will do my best.
Yeah, correct. So if you join the course there, I think you must pay full attention to the 108-day Vedanta course, right? That's what you've been
Yeah.
For.
And in relation to Sanskrit, what is my experience? I just want to mention is that because many of my friends also who are practicing yoga and who are chanting mantras, and still they ask me, but why you want to learn Sanskrit? I mean, why you want to do all these efforts? Like, it's something like unnecessary, but my experience is that there is really a very a kind of a force, not force, maybe it's not exactly that, but there's kind of a hidden energy. For me, learning a Sanskrit is like really kind of a sadhana, coming in touch with these words, even if it's kind of mundane to pustakam or whatever it's other words.
Yeah.
So I think that every effort made in learning Sanskrit, it's worth it.
Thank you.
And
thank you very much
yes,
for joining, and appreciate all your input. And you struggled a lot to find what you want, and maybe even and of course being in India from a European country, Bulgaria and so forth, and we appreciate that. And there are a lot of people waiting, so I want to move on to others also. But appreciate all that input you've given us, Vidyapreeti. And you can continue where you left off. You don't have to start from the first class, obviously. So I know you've submitted many homeworks and things like that. So do what you feel is doable by you.
okay. But at the same time, I will be guided to some of your students for questions or anything. Yeah.
Yes.
I will be. Okay, you join me in some of the groups. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, and I really appreciate what you do. Like this, it's very helpful. It's really pranam. Thank you.
You're welcome, and it's all Swamiji's grace that we are just trying to be part of this yajna. Garima, Sweta, and Nitesha, in that order. Go ahead, unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Garima. I'm born and brought.
Hello. சொல்லுமா இருக்குமா நான் கூப்பிடுறேன் கிளாஸ் நடந்துட்டு கூப்பிடுறேன்.
Actually, am I audible? I'm here.
So actually I lost you the minute you mentioned your name. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you, for my benefit, repeat?
Sure. So, born and brought up in Delhi, in Bombay for 30 years now. Spent most of my adult life taking decisions by elimination because I didn't know what I really wanted to do. So I was just ruling things out. That started with me ending up as an engineer in computer science from IIT Delhi, but having really no interest in that. And then saying, okay, eliminate that. Then joined as a management consultant at a company called McKinsey. And then I also realized that that's not the world that I was interested in. But that happened more, not very consciously, but actually I ended up with a serious back problem a year and a half into my job. And I realized that's when I got introduced to yoga for the first time. I went to Vyasa in Bangalore as a patient. And I realized that what was manifesting in my back was nothing to do with my body, but just that I was not in alignment with who I was internally. Working as a consultant and making rich companies richer was not what my soul wanted to do. And the moment I decided to switch to the development sector, I took that decision there. And since then, my back pain has never come back. So I think my journey has been more just by realizing like life when things were not working out. So I've been in the development sector for around 13, 14 years now. Did that work as a consultant first, then set up the Bombay operations for this nonprofit called Teach for India, Did that for 3 years. And again, I realized that I was deeply unhappy. And that's where the turning inwards happened further, because I realized it's not about the work we do. I can be working in a corporate or a non-profit, but it's really how am I operating on the inside. And you can say like that was the deeper turning into my spiritual journey, which I have been slowly pursuing over the last 7-8 years. I currently run a non-profit called Swasth Foundation, and within that, I look at a program called the Swasth Yoga Institute, which is about bringing back like the spirit of yoga and Ayurveda in wellness to start with. We work with low-income communities, but also really about bringing it to in the spirit of management, in education, in all of those things. And Sanskrit is going to be a big tool for that. So I'm really looking forward to this course helping me realize my purpose in my life.
Okay. So yeah, very powerful journey, and all the best in your endeavors. Yeah, that's how it works. Only when we ask tough questions to ourselves, that's when our life transforms, changes, and we come to new paths leading us to destinations which we feel good about. So, all the best to you. So you are now situated in Mumbai, you said?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank
so one of my students has just joined, Charvi Shah. I mentioned to you that she took this course completely offline, etc. So she's from Mumbai also. So once we finish the introductions, maybe we'll hear from Charvi as well. Okay. So who's next? Sweta, is it? Sweta ji. So okay, I have one. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Namaskaram to everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm Sweta from Vellore, Tamil Nadu. I'm very much interested in learning Sanskrit, mainly to study the scriptures, Purvacharya Grandhams, and to understand. I'm eager to learn Sri Bhashyam and all, but before that, I should have knowledge of Sanskrit. I'm very much interested, but I haven't get any opportunity to learn Sanskrit from my place. There is no tutor in our hometown, Vellore. So I'm really thankful to you, sir. Because of you, I'm able to fulfill my wish. And thanks a lot for this opportunity, sir.
Welcome. And don't thank me. Okay, maybe I'm a part of it, but it depends on you also. And learning Sanskrit takes an effort and initiative. And so hopefully in a year from now, you will thank yourself also. Sri Bhashyam.
Yes, sir.
Nice to study Sri Bhashyam. I have not studied it. I've studied Shankara Bhashyam of many Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. But maybe someday I will study Sri Bhashyam also, God willing.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very nice. Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead, Nitesha.
Good morning. I am Nitesh, and I am from West Bengal. And I have completed my education from West Bengal only, and currently I am working in Bangalore. So when I recently gone through Bhagavad Gita, so I got inspired with the Bhagavad Gita. So my intention is to learn Sanskrit to understand the slokas and to explore my culture, because I have not got an opportunity in my school time, So now I'm thinking that it's a good time for me to at least to understand how my culture is there, what my culture is saying, and there's many things in my culture which I want to explore.
Definitely.
So, and I went through these social sites, many like a YouTube channel to learn Sanskrit and all. But what is happening that I'm not able to correlate, because sequentially I'm not getting any course or like some guidance I need to understand the basic things, because I have many basic. That's the thing.
Sure. Thanks for joining.
And thanks for the opportunity, sir.
Where in West Bengal are you?
I'm from Shyamnagar.
Shyamnagar. Okay.
It's in North 24 Parganas.
Okay. So
just from 8 kilometers from Kolkata main city.
Yeah. Okay. So one of my students, Rupa Agarwal, is from Kolkata.
Okay.
So maybe we can put you in touch with her, and she can be your tutor. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Thanks for joining. All the best.
Thanks.
Sarita, Vaishnavi, in that order. So, okay, yeah, Sarita said she was not, her microphone was not working, no? Okay. All right. So she sent an email to us, chat window. So sorry, my mic doesn't work. Hello, I am Sarita Gupta Mishra from New Delhi. I am an investment banker by profession. I recently quit Ernst and Young. I have some time on my hand and want to use it to fulfill my long-standing desire to learn Sanskritam. I am a BE MBA by education. My grandfather was a Shastri. Wow. I understand an equivalent of bachelor's. Okay, maybe it's more than a bachelor's. Yeah, it's definitely an accomplishment in Sanskrit, and he could debate in Sanskrit. I'm very fascinated and wish to be able to do that one day. Sure. Thank you for being my teacher. I'm very excited to be learning with you. Wonderful. So nice background, and yeah, it's amazing how many of our grandfathers and grandmothers were all like, Sanskritists, and they were all professors in in various colleges and things like that. And so here we are. At least we have recognized that, and we want to hopefully follow in their footsteps, right? That's very nice. So yeah, thanks for joining, Sarita Gupta Mishra from New Delhi. Yeah. Okay, so we have go ahead, Vaishnavi.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope I will try to fix my video issues by next class. So it's really amazing to know such wonderful people through this session. And I'm really happy to meet you everyone here in this session. So I am basically from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. And now currently I am resided at Chennai. I have been in Chennai for past 9 years. So my father was a bank employee. He retired as a branch manager. So I had an opportunity to, because of his transfers, I traveled to many places, like complete South India, I can say. And I studied in Coimbatore. And one of my professors, Guruji, you might know, they run the foundation named Anadi Foundation in Coimbatore. So
Yeah, I know Smriti and Adiji very well. Yeah.
yes, they were my professors at Amrita Vidyapeetham. So she posted about this session. So that's when I realized, okay, it's a wonderful opportunity to learn Sanskrit. And the main reason is when I was studying in Karnataka in high school, they have an opportunity of taking Sanskrit as our first subject. Unfortunately, I could study for only 1 year. So I wanted to learn more. Like, as you said, we should converse in Sanskrit by end of this class. So that's what my intention was.
Very nice, very nice. Nice to have you. So yeah, you've traveled all of Tamil Nadu, so that gives you a good. That's an experience that you have that most people don't.
Yes.
And so, so Smriti and Adi, they're doing wonderful work by themselves. Nadi
Yes.
Foundation, and they quit their professor job, from
Yes.
Coimbatore, and they started this Anadi some years ago. So great work, and I worked with them over the last 3 years. And I also founded an organization called Indian History Awareness and Research, which is working now with the Telangana state to change the history textbooks. And we are in the third year of working with them. And earlier this year, February, the Indian government invited us to conduct a conference in Delhi, history conference. So we invited about 100, 120 scholars and that was a big event for us. But prior to that, I conducted some history workshops in Coimbatore for 2 years, and I got the help from Smriti and Adi for that, because they are well connected in Coimbatore as far as schools and teachers, principals, and things like that. So very nice to have you. Yeah,
It's really nice initiative government is taking to imbibe real Indian culture into the textbooks. Yes.
yeah. So it's not an easy job. It's a very political game, and so we have to be very careful. And so we are. The Telangana government is somewhat. The director is very wants to do it, and she's quietly doing it. And now yesterday when I spoke to her, she said the commissioner is now changed, and she's even more interested in this. So I think things are looking up. So
Good.
yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So anybody else besides Charvi who has not spoken up, who hasn't had a chance? Anybody else? Okay. So Subramaniam K, are you there? Are you able to hear us? Okay. So I'm not.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Yeah.
Sorry, I am Subramanian K from Chennai. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you well. Yeah.
Okay, from Chennai. I am working as IT executive. My father is a Archaka in a temple, so that's why I want to learn Sanskrit. But he used to recite slokas and other things, so I got interest in learning in Sanskrit. That's why I'm in this class. So I will get my video ready by next week, next session, before next session. So I am based out of Chennai and working in an IT firm. That is short.
Very nice to have you. And just a reminder to everybody that the classes so just a reminder to everybody that the classes will all be based on looking at recorded videos of classes conducted last year. And so you can do it at your own pace, but within a week, and then submit notes. And we will meet for tutorials. And we will meet periodically for tutorial sessions. So just a reminder that to all of you. Go ahead and mute yourself. Those of you who are unmuted, go ahead and mute yourself. And I want to invite, so as I mentioned to you earlier, Charvi Shah from Mumbai, a student who studied Sanskrit with her own initiative, and she's joined us here. So I wanted her to share some of her own experience, what it feels like, because all of you will be doing something similar, studying, using videos and then submitting homeworks. And I thought Charvi could share a few words. Charvi, go ahead.
Namaste, everyone. Kumarji, you'll have to turn the other window on. I'm there on two windows.
Okay, so let me see. Two windows. Okay. So let's do that. So let me make this the spotlight. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So thank you, Kumarji.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a delight to see all of you wanting to learn Sanskrit. I want to share my experience, because my experience, so I did my studies the way we are expecting all of you to do your studies. That is why probably sharing my experience will just help you a little bit. So I came to know Sasyam in August 2018. And that was the time when I had started my Shastra studies. And so I was really excited, because I knew that learning Sanskrit would really help my studies. But unfortunately, the time at which the live classes were being conducted did not suit me. I had a lot of other commitments at that time. And also, they were done with about 24 to 25 classes by the time I joined, I came to know of Sasyam. So I was a bit disheartened. But then a friend of mine who is a Sasyam student, she suggested that I at least go through the video, the recordings which were uploaded on YouTube. So when I started watching the videos, I realized that they were so student friendly. That it didn't matter whether I attended the live session or I listened to the recordings. There was still a lot of learning. There was still a lot of takeaway from every class. So I want to just tell you something about how the classes were. The classes are going at they are at a very comfortable pace. There is generally one topic per class, and there is a lot of repetition of that topic in each class. So there were, say, about 15 students. Then every student was asked to come up with their own example. Every student was asked questions based on those on that topic, and that's how there was a lot of repetition, which really helped to uh, retain what we were learning. Secondly, the examples that were coming up were also very thoughtfully brought up, so that made sure, they were interesting, they were fun, so it kind of stays in the mind. So that was very interesting. And then there were so many add-ons. So mostly in every class there were add-ons, like there were some video clippings, there was some conversation by kids in Sanskrit, there was documentaries by foreigners which were in Sanskrit, there were film clippings which were in Sanskrit. So all those things were really interesting and engaging. Um, but as Nitesh ji said, that there are a lot of tutorials and videos available online. But what so by only watching videos, probably I would have I would have given up. I would have not been able to pursue it for so long. It's just that there is an excellent back end support that we get with Sasyam classes. So there is never a point when you have a doubt and there is no one to attend to your doubt. So Jay Kumar ji himself and the other students, they are so accessible, they're so approachable, that every time you have a doubt, it gets resolved. So there is never a point where you are lost. Secondly, there is such an amazing resource library which has all the books. So first of all, I did not even have to wait till I get the books to start my studying, to start the studies. It's that all the books, there is a lot of study material that is available in the resource library. So that has been really helpful. So that there are some commonly used nouns, verbs, a lot of things in that. So it really helps to get familiarized with the language very easily. So in probably about 4-5 classes, I started phrasing simple sentences, speaking to the family in Sanskrit, like really simple sentences, but it was very easy to get familiar with the language. And the most important part, I think, is the homework. Vijay Kumar ji really takes pains to make the homework for us. And so with every class there comes a set of submissions that we have to give. And I think that homework really helped me in two ways. Firstly, uh, it helped to retain, because there were so many sentences that we had to make per topic. That really helped to retain it. And secondly, it generated a lot of doubts. So clarifying those doubts really helped in making the topic very clear. So all in all, this recorded video watching and learning really worked fantastic for me. Firstly, I could study at my own time. Secondly, I could pause and replay it at then and there. So whenever I had a doubt, I could pause, I could go back then and there. And then there are so many other resources that we'll get exposed to in the course of the class, that we can actually refer to so many things. We can come back and connect the dots then and there. So that was very helpful. Thirdly, I could look at the students very objectively. So when they were making sentence, my thinking would like start continuously. It would like when they were making their own examples or sentences, I could so if there were 15 of them, I could make 15 sentences then, and I could even point out if someone made mistakes. That really helped me. So it was like a complete win-win situation. It was it worked fantastic, and I'm sure it will work very good for all of you also. It's just there's one piece of advice that I want to give you. It's that so these classes are for us. We have come here because we want to learn, and so it is extremely important how committed and more than how disciplined we are. So it's very easy to keep pushing it off, that okay, because it's at our pace that we have to do, we could push it off, and we could lose the discipline. And I would just request all of you to not do that. Just stick to a schedule that you have fixed, like one class a week, one homework a week, and that will really benefit you. Yeah, so that's all that I wanted to say.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Jay Kumarji.
So yeah, so about 3 or 4 students like Charvi, Shakuntala, and then Mahesh from the US, they all did the same thing. They took the course offline, and so they benefited. So what we'll do is this. So we'll open up the forum for questions, and it's already 8:15 here in India. I mean, I keep saying India. Everybody is in India right now, but because in our class generally we have people both from US and India, so that's become a habit now for me. So any questions, any concerns, statements, just observations, any of you have anything, please unmute yourself and say it. Anything you missed out, please feel free to speak up.
Actually, a friend of mine wanted to enroll for the course, but got the message that I think the registration was full. And I'm just wondering if you have this format of being able to watch videos offline, if there is still a capacity to the enrollment.
Yeah, so we can do that. What you have my number. You send me a WhatsApp message on that number, and then what we can do is I can request one of my students to work with them to get them registered. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any questions? Do you think you can? Is this course appealing? Do you think you can watch videos every week? Can you police yourself? As Charbi was saying, I'm not going to knock on your doors. I'm not going to say, next homework is due on Friday, etc. Maybe you'll get an email. and we will do all that. But computers can do only so much. Finally, it's up to us. We tell the computer, no, that's okay. You can remind me. You can send me as many reminders as you want, but I'm not going to do this. So any thoughts? Any surprises?
So, Guruji Vaishnavi is speaking. There is a Samskrita Bharati Seva Kendram here in Chennai. So, if I go, will I be able to purchase those books, or should I have to order well ahead with them?
Yeah. So since you're in Chennai, there is a Samskrita Bharati office. It used to be in Chetpet. I don't know where they are now. But I visited their office so many times when I was in Chennai. And yeah, you just call them and I tell them these are the books I want. They will have all these books. And they will have a lot more books also. So if you can do that, that's the best. You don't have to place an order online or anything like that.
Yes.
And the same is true for those of you who are in Mumbai or Hyderabad. These days Samskrita Bharati has satellite offices in many parts of the country. And so you look them up on their website or on Google, and you can talk to them. And also, I should say one more thing. If there is a Samskrita Bharati, it's a group of people near your home having classes, you should attend those classes. It can be in addition to this course you're doing, but it's important to be in touch. And I've told our students too, that if there is a camp coming up, many of my students have already attended camps. Shibirams in their neighborhood, and even my students in the US have done that. So in fact, at one point I used to say it's a requirement to attend a weekend camp with Samskrita Bharati. So that I feel that's very important, and so please keep that in mind. Okay, it's not a requirement, but it really helps you connect with the language, make the language your own, and see other friends in your own neighborhood and meet them and see how they're all learning Sanskrit. All of that helps. Okay. So any other thoughts or questions? So we'll conclude with that, and so one of these days, you will get an email and we'll set up a news group and WhatsApp group and things like that. So it may take a few days to, I'm conducting 5 orientation sessions. This is the second one. And there are 3 more to be done. And so once all of that is done, we'll have an idea of who is really serious. And then we will start the communications. And any issues along the way, you have my telephone number. Please send me a message or call me. And I think within a week or so, I think everything should get settled down in terms of communications, and you should have a better idea of, accessing the materials and starting to do your study. Okay, so let's conclude with a short prarthana. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Pratyorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So maybe we should, Charvi, maybe you should give your telephone number also in case they want to talk to you. They can do that. Can you?
It's 9322612323.
Once again.
9322612323. So I'm in Mumbai. And yeah, you can send me a message or call me anytime.
Thank you, Charvi, for sharing the experience and having you with us as a, you can say, a mentor of the courses. Nairuti here from Ahmedabad.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I did most of my education from Ahmedabad. I'm very close to Ahmedabad.
Very nice, very nice. In fact, this whole course, the idea is my students' idea. It's not my idea, and so we'll see how it goes. We are going to do our best. We have a lot of love for the language, for the culture, and we are like many of you. We are contributing in so many different ways, and so the channels of communications are open. So don't think that just because you're watching videos offline and that we are not available, that kind of feeling you should not get. And so anytime you can reach out to any of us. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Namaste.
Yeah,
Looking forward. Namaste.
Yeah.
Yeah.